Jack, Jim, Charlie, and Chuck, 4 friends, 4 ordinary men, had come to the Alagash wilderness for a simple escape. Laughter echoed off the water as fire cracked beside them, painting their faces in flickers of gold. The world felt small, safe, theirs. But under that peace, the woods listened. Every splash of oar, every murmur, sank into the quiet like bait. Somewhere beyond the glow of the firelight, a presence waited, watching, curious. For a moment, Jim thought he saw it, a shimmer between the trees, gone as quickly as it appeared. He told no one. The night swallowed his words whole. The second night came cold and silent. The fire's warmth barely reached the edges of their camp, swallowed by the endless dark of Maine's wilderness. Jim looked up first, just a glance at the sky, and froze. Above the black treetops hovered a light. Not a star. Not a plane. Something alive. It hung there, pulsing softly, like it was breathing. A perfect sphere of white, too bright to stare at, yet impossible to look away from. The men passed the binoculars in silence. The light didn't move, it watched. Then, without warning, it folded in on itself, collapsing inward like the sky was swallowing it whole. The forest was left empty, but wrong. Every sound seemed sharper, every shadow thicker. None of them spoke, but all 4 felt it, the unmistakable sense that whatever had vanished had not gone far. For days later, the air turned heavy and the night felt endless. They pushed their canoe onto the still surface of Chamberlain Lake, lanterns dimmed to nothing but embers. Behind them, a bonfire burned, a single orange wound in a sea of black. The lake reflected everything, stars, smoke, silence. It was beautiful, until it wasn't. Chuck was the first to feel it, that cold prickle of being watched. He turned, slow, and there it was again. Hovering low over the trees, just above the waterline, the same white sphere. But now, it churned like liquid fire, a miniature sun boiling in the night. It moved closer, silent and deliberate. The trees glowed white as day. The water around the canoe shimmered like molten glass. Time stopped breathing. Charlie, trembling, raised his flashlight. He blinked 3 short bursts into the dark, SOS. The light answered instantly. A beam erupted downward, so bright it devoured the lake. The light began to move. At first, slow, graceful, almost curious. Then, in an instant, it surged forward, slicing through the dark like lightning trapped in a globe. The men's laughter died in their throats. "Go," someone whispered, but the word barely made it past their lips before they were already paddling, water slapping frantic against the canoe. No sound came from the light. No hum, no wind, just that unbearable brightness, swelling until it drowned the stars. Every muscle screamed. The lake glowed beneath them, blinding, endless. Jack turned his head once, just once, and it was there, right behind them, close enough to feel the heat on his neck. He blinked, and the world exploded white. Then nothing. The next thing they knew, they were on shore. No splash, no impact, just sudden stillness. The fire was gone, reduced to a pile of smoldering coals. The night air felt different, colder, as if hours had passed. They looked at one another, dazed, eyes wide and hollow. No one spoke. There was no agreement, no decision, they simply turned toward their tents and crawled inside. Sleep came like gravity. Heavy. Absolute. When dawn arrived, none of them mentioned the light. They packed their gear in silence, the way people do when pretending nothing happened. But each of them knew something had followed them out of that lake, something invisible, breathing just behind their thoughts. Years passed. The forest was gone, the canoe long forgotten, but the light stayed. It lived behind their eyelids. Jack was the first to wake screaming. His wife found him drenched in sweat, clawing at his own skin as if trying to scrape something off. He said nothing, just whispered about a room too bright to see, shapes moving without sound. Then Jim called. His voice was trembling. He'd dreamed the same thing. The same blinding light. The same paralysis. The same shadows leaning close. Every night it returned, colder, clearer. What had been buried was waking up again. And when they closed their eyes, they no longer dreamed of the light. They dreamed inside it. Desperate for answers, Jim reached out to a researcher named Ray Fowler, a man who listened to the kind of stories most people laugh at. Fowler suggested hypnosis, to pull back the fog of memory. Under the soft hum of a recorder, the brothers sank into the past. Calm voices guided them, until calm turned to trembling. They remembered the light, but not as a glow above the trees. It was around them. It had walls. And something moved within it. Charlie's voice cracked, "It's cold. It's bright. I can't move." Then Jack's whisper, "They're talking, but not with mouths." The memories aligned, each word from one matching the fear of another. The session ended with 4 grown men shaking like children. Whatever they'd seen that night had not stayed in the woods. It had been waiting, patient, inside their minds. They were no longer men on a lake. They were inside the light. A room without edges surrounded them, metal that breathed, air that hummed like a heartbeat. Every surface glowed, too clean to be real. Jack tried to move, but his body didn't answer. He could only watch as figures drifted through the brightness, tall, thin, their skin the color of ash. Their eyes were bottomless, like holes punched through reality. A voice, not heard but felt, echoed inside their skulls, "Do not be afraid." But fear didn't need words. Hands, cold, smooth, pressed against their skin. Something sharp scraped his arm, then his chest. He couldn't scream. Charlie lay on a table beside him, head tilted back, a glinting device pressed to his throat. Jim's thoughts spiraled, "They're studying us." Then, silence. One of the beings leaned close, face inches from Jack's. The eyes filled his vision, infinite and calm. And in that perfect stillness, he understood the most terrifying thing of all. They weren't hurting him. They were learning. When awareness returned, the men were standing by the shore, their canoe half in the water. No flash, no fall, just existence snapping back into place. The fire had died to dust. The woods were still. Not one of them spoke. Later, under hypnosis, each described the same moment, the sudden emptiness, the loss of time. But none remembered leaving the light. They went home. They grew older. But something about their eyes changed, always scanning the sky, always waiting. Because the truth didn't end that night. The light had marked them, carried them, kept them. It didn't vanish over the trees. It simply found new places to hide. The lake lies still. No wind. No sound. Just a mirror of black glass stretching into forever. A faint ripple disturbs the surface, slow, deliberate. Beneath it, a glimmer. A pulse. Somewhere deep below, a memory stirs. The camera drifts closer, closer, until the water begins to glow, that same colorless light blooming once more. A whisper breaks the silence. Sometimes, they come back for what they forgot. If you were captivated by this chilling encounter and want to explore more mysteries that lurk beyond our understanding, make sure to subscribe to Beyond the Sky. Join us as we uncover stories that challenge reality and dive deep into the unexplained. Don't miss a single moment, hit that subscribe button and step beyond the sky with us.